Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands. I've got a bit of a different kind of video for you today. No particular topic or commentary on horror films, but a few stats and numbers to bring you, because I have been through and audited my entire horror movie collection. So I get a lot of people asking me how many movies I've got, how many Blu-rays, DVDs, 4Ks, how many I've watched, that kind of thing. Well, hopefully in this video I can answer some of those questions, because I've got the facts and figures behind the collection itself. So let's get straight into this one. This is going to be a bit of a nerdy one, but hopefully you'll find it interesting. Alright guys, so I've pulled the computer out for this one, because the way I did this was for well over the last year. I've devised a Excel spreadsheet to keep track of everything that I've got. So I inputted every single title, as well as a few other bits of details as well, which you'll see as we go on in this video. Now, I didn't do this alone. Thankfully, I had a friend who very early on in the process helped me out with this, which was great. So he sat at the computer, I pulled everything off the shelves and read the title and all the information to him one by one, and he put everything in the spreadsheet for me, and from there I could collate everything accordingly. So massive thank you to him. I'd still be doing the first shelf if I was on my own doing this. So I can bring you some interesting facts, or at least I find them interesting, behind this collection that you see. So the total number of Blu-rays, 4Ks and DVDs on the shelves is 3,687. So not too bad. I was kind of hoping for around 4,000, so a bit short of that, but I'm sure I'll get there soon. But the total number of movies in this collection is 4,368. Now the reason that's higher is because I only count box sets as one. So I can have box sets with 10, 20, maybe 30 movies in, but I only count them as one thing. So that's why that overall number is higher than the actual items that are on the shelf. But yeah, not too bad. 3,687 horror movies, and that's constantly going up as well. I've got things coming in all the time. I've got a few things coming in the next few days, so that number's rising. But yeah, if anyone ever says how many movies do I have on the shelf, 3,687, but 4,368 in total. Okay, now I've broken that number down into the different formats, so you can see 119 4Ks, which only makes up 3% of the collection, but I haven't been collecting them all that long in the scheme of things, you know, compared to DVD and Blu-ray. DVD and Blu-ray, there's not that much difference in it. 1,907 Blu-rays and 1,661 DVDs. 52% of this collection is Blu-ray and 45% is DVD. Now, none of those figures were too surprising, really. I wasn't quite sure if I'd surpassed DVD in terms of Blu-ray, but I have now. But I do. Blu-ray is my primary format that I've bought for quite a while now, so I'm not entirely surprised that that's the case. But yeah, you can see that is the breakdown of what I have by what format within this collection. I still happily buy DVDs, and I do try and get 4K if it's like a brand new movie, but yeah, those are the numbers on that. Now I've further tried to break it down into kind of what's on the shelves, and if you can see here, movies are the primary thing. 96% of what's in the collection are movies, which is probably about right. I mean, the next thing is documentaries. I've got 60 documentaries, but that only accounts for 2% of the collection, so that's kind of surprising. TV series, I've got 45 TV series, that's only 1% of the collection. I don't tend to get too many TV shows on Blu-ray or DVD. I find it hard to watch an entire TV show. I do need to get more. 29 shockumentaries and kind of shock footage stuff. Again, that only accounts for 1% of the collection. And then I got a couple of trailer compilations and one audio thing which plays like spooky noises. But because of the whole number of what's here, that doesn't even register on the percentage scale. But yeah, that's kind of everything in that respect. I may break it down into kind of subgenres like vampire, slashers, creature features. I haven't done that just yet. It's kind of hard because some of it you can never quite determine what it is, and then you've got things like anthologies which might feature all those kind of things. So I need to look into doing that. But yeah, those are the numbers on that in that respect so far. Right, this one's interesting. This is what the most popular labels are in my collection, and you can see Scream Factory and Vinegar Syndrome both hold the top spot. 186 releases from both companies respectively. Now, I have a total of 424 different labels in this collection, and 186 of that 424 comes to 44%. I believe I've got that right. But either way, Scream Factory and Vinegar Syndrome are the most popular ones in this collection. I didn't realise I got that many Scream Factories, I have to be honest, because I don't order a lot from them. But yeah, it's great to know that they're represented well in the collection. Going down, Warner Brothers, got a lot from them. 39% of that label catchment is from Warner Brothers, and then Universal. Arrow, 135 from them. I do buy a lot of Arrow stuff, so that's not too surprising. A few kind of sort of things like Lionsgate and MGM surprisingly made the top 10, and then Anchor Bay. I do love my old school Anchor Bay, and they do release a few more modern things as well, so they're in the top 10 as well. But yeah, that's kind of, those are the big labels that I seem to buy from and that seem to be represented in the collection. This one's kind of interesting and did surprise me. This is like where I get most of my movies from, and 88% of what's in the collection is from the United States. I've always said I much prefer my US releases to the UK ones. I just think they look better. They're not plastered with BBFC logos. When I first started collecting, the UK stuff was almost always cut as well, whereas the American stuff wasn't. So that kind of conditioned me to go after US releases a lot more as well. It is getting better in this country. We are getting some really nice releases from kind of 88 Films and Arrow and Indicator and things like that. Only 11% of my collection is from the UK. I gotta say, I do gotta get on that a little bit more. I need to start supporting the UK labels more than what I do. I do buy from them whenever I can. It's just a lot of what they put out is kind of movies that I already own on movies that they've already released, so I don't tend to buy them all that much. But yeah, I'm way out with US releases. There's a few others, as you can see, from other countries, but the numbers are so low, it's like 0.1%. So yeah, that is where I get the bulk of my movies from, the United States. Now this is really cool. This is how each decade in horror is represented within the collection. So you can see the most popular decade I have is the 1980s, which I'm not too surprised by. It is probably my favourite decade, but 725 horror movies from the 80s, that makes up 20% of the collection. The 1910s, I've only got 2 movies. That'll be Dante's Inferno, and I have a version of Frankenstein that predates the Boris Karloff one from around 1910. A handful from the 1920s, only 0.2% of the collection. 32 from the 1930s, it's only 1% of the collection. Now a lot of what I have from the 1930s and 40s is in box sets, so that might explain why that's a bit low. 109 from the 50s. I do like sort of my 50s atomic giant bug movies and things like that. 205 from the 60s. Yeah, the 60s kind of, it's a, I don't know, a bit of an unsung decade in horror. 531 from the 70s. I've kind of hoped maybe I'd have more from that decade, but I think there's still things from the 70s that still need releasing. 419 from the 90s. I need to get more 90s horror movies. I do love the 90s. It's like my decade. So yeah, I need to get some more. And you can see from the rest is, yeah, it gets a bit more popular from the 1980s onwards. But quite surprised that I have so many from the 2020s already. 334 movies. 9% of the collection is from the 2020s, and we're only halfway through that decade doing this video. But yeah, I just thought that was very interesting and not entirely surprising, but that is how each of the decades are represented in this collection. So yeah, if I can find any more from the 1910s, I certainly will. But as you can see, the 80s is definitely where it's at when it comes to the Horror Hands collection. And another really interesting one, I've compiled a list of the 20 most popular horror movie directors in this collection. And as you can see, Jess Franco is top of the list. I have more Jess Franco movies than any other director, which is kind of surprising, but thinking about how much he churned movies out in the 70s and 80s, not entirely surprising. Right behind him is Lucio Fulci, one of my favourite directors, so that's good. Terence Fisher's up there, so some good classic British representation, and then lots of really strong names throughout this list. Fred Olen Ray, good to see him make the list, because I do love his cheap monster movies. Bruno Mattei, I tried to get him under that name and not Vincent Dawn, so I could get him for everything that he's done, and yeah, nice to see him make the list. Charles Band and David Decatur are both kind of Full Moon and Empire movie directors, and I know they've done a lot of movies, so yeah, they're on the list as well. And yeah, so very, very interesting. Justin Ferguson, really high up on the list. Now, he makes really like low budget trash horror films, and I don't want to sound awful, but I don't think I've ever seen one from him that was all that much even watchable. But man, I do buy his films. 16 films from Justin Ferguson. That is kind of surprising. But this is why I love doing this. It's really interesting that I can see this, and I've done more than that. I've done all of the directors in the collection, but these are the 20 most popular. So yeah, I just thought that was a cool little feature. And finally, for every movie that I logged, I gave it a score, as you can see here. So excellent, good, okay, not very good, terrible, can't remember, and not seen. And these are the stats on that. So good and okay seem to be the most common things that I think about movies. Yeah, that seems okay. There's a few that I can't remember. 213 movies I can't remember. I do have a terrible memory, so that's probably why. And 193 films that I've still not seen. That number has gone up because I have had a few orders and packages come in recently, so that's bumped that one up a little bit. But yeah, 5% of what I own in the collection I still need to see. 324 horror movies that are truly excellent. That's only 9% of the collection, but I'm okay with that because I was very sparing with that rating. Like, you really had to be an excellent, top-notch horror film to get that rating. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good, pretty fair representation. Only 3% of the collection I rated as terrible, but that might be more of a signpost to my my high tendency for trash and terrible movies. I don't know, but yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at in terms of quality and how good the movies are in the Horror Hands collection. So there we go, guys. That's a little bit of the breakdown behind this collection and some of the numbers and statistics that make up the shelves. I hope you found that interesting. Let me know what you think. Let me know if any of these numbers surprised you, or if there's any other ways you'd like to see me break down the collection. You might have to give me a year or so to do it, but I'll try and get it done. But hopefully you just found that a little bit interesting and gave you an idea of what's in the collection and what I've seen and things like that. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.